are Australia's food producers. They play a critical role in our lives. Why? Because they feed us. We are fortunate to have men and women who work hard to grow our food every day. Farmers grow what suits their environment and natural resources like rainfall and soil type. Some farms are big, some are small. Some have access to water. Others must rely on what falls from the sky. No two farms are the same. Science and technology helps farmers look after their crops and the health of their livestock. Farmers also take care of their waterways and natural habitats on their farms so it will be sustainable and productive for future generations. Some farms are big, some are small. The location of a farm plays a big part in what the farmer grows and the markets they are selling to. Like Shane, who supplies his own homegrown lamb for his butcher shop.
So our paddock to plate process has a strong emphasis on quality, environmental sustainability, animal welfare in particular. Now, by having a local program, the animals are not being trucked around massive different distances and being handled unnecessarily. Because we're all about local, it does help growing the animals within the 30 km radius of the shop, finishing them and also getting them slaughtered just a little bit out of that 30 km radius. But as a whole, they're not generally being transported a lot, which helps from not only the stress of the animal's point of view, but also from the travel miles. So animals aren't being shipped all around the countryside unnecessarily. It's a family operation, so we grow the animals ourselves on our family farms. We operate the butcher shop. We've got the whole supply chain basically covered. There's a number of factors that make our product and the process sustainable. It's not only having an environmental sustainability, but also an economic sustainability. Now, coupled with that economic sustainability is our passion and knowledge about the industry, our commitment to being here long term, our background in the primary production area, as well as our knowledge and background in running a business, not only from a family business's point of view, but also take it to the next level and employing sustainable corporate characteristics in a business. And for us, it's very important to do so, the program, the product is here long term, not only for our benefit, but for all the locals we employ, as well as for you, the consumer.
Often we might think our farmers are old. That's not true. Australia is lucky to have lots of young farmers passionate about growing fresh, nutritious produce just like Erin.
Hi, I'm Erin. I'm a veggie farmer here in Western Victoria. I'm on 15 acres. We produce spring onions, parsley, coriander, dill, radishes, rhubarb, beetroot, pak choy. Some are just the few of the varieties that we grow. So we plant weekly on our farm, obviously weather dependent, but we're harvesting 6 days a week because we believe in fresh produce. We want the produce to be picked and go straight from our farm and be straight in your hands at your house. So a 24-hour, 36-hour turnaround period is what we believe. Then you're getting the product as fresh as possible and enjoying it at its peak. An example is what I was saying about the freshness and getting it to you as quick as possible. Our orders will come in early hours of the morning from our customers. We will pick that order. We don't pick 100 bunches of coriander and we only sell 80. We pick the 80, we box the 80, it is straight to you, our customer. So that there is a shorter turnaround time, nothing is being held in cold storage, it is straight from farm, straight to your plate. In terms of sustainability on my farm, I guess from an environmental point of view, we use T-tape or drip irrigation, which obviously conserves water. It puts water right at the root of the vegetable where it needs it the most. In terms of sustainability in staying in business and providing for my family, that is a lot harder. And as a farmer, you need to be in front of a trend and you need to be judging what the market is doing and trying to plant that and get that to your plate as fast as possible. So when we watch shows like MasterChef and you see them cooking up storms, unfortunately that's filmed in summer and you guys all rush to the shop in winter when it is shown on the TV and want that product. So what we have to try and do is find that product before you will know you want it and get it to you as fast as possible.
Some farmers don't just grow and harvest, they take the raw products and process them. Chris grows grain for domestic and export customers, but he also turns the grain into wholemeal flour to sell to local retail outlets.
One of our main enterprises on this farm is Broadacre grain production. So we are Broadacre dryland farming here, which means that we rely on the rain that falls from the sky, so we have no irrigation or supplementary water that we apply to the crops. And Broadacre means that we just do it in big paddocks. This paddock we're standing in is about 130 hectares. It's of roughly 80 MCGs, and this year we'll produce roughly enough wheat to produce 400,000 loaves of bread.
So straight from the paddock into the mill, we add no additives, no preservatives, so what people are getting is a very fresh and very clean product. We have full traceability because obviously we grow it, we harvest it, and then we mill it. And then we can sell it direct to either a baker, a chef, or a retail. So we have a full traceability of where the flour starts and where it ends up.
We're currently in our wheat paddock. We sowed this in approximately May. It'll grow through to around about December, depending on weather conditions. We'll harvest approximately that time, and this is what it looks like prior to it being harvested.
So at harvest time, we harvest our grain and deliver it to a facility like the one that is over my shoulder. There are traders which will buy our grain on a daily basis or under contract. They will then store that grain for a period of time or up to 12 months. And then they will sell that grain on to domestic and international markets. So the overseas market, majority of Australia's grain would go over in bulk ships. Again, this facility that's just behind me is a storage site for that, where they can accumulate grain. And then when a ship turns up into the port, they can then bulk load that ship quickly. You know, they're taking approximately 20,000 tonne in one go. But this facility also behind me is registered for container shipping. So that would be for smaller lots into smaller markets, and they can actually pack what they call a 20-foot container with around about 20 tonne of grain to be exported when the customer requires it.
Some farmers have no access to irrigation water, whilst other farmers like Mark have lots of groundwater to irrigate his potatoes through the summer months.
My name's Mark Labbett, and we grow certified seed potatoes for the Australian potato industry and commercial growers. We also run Angus cattle for meat production. We grow about 17 different varieties of potatoes. Most of them are used for crisping, as in Smith's chips, and McCain for McDonald's and the supermarket industry. Our area's got high rainfall. The volcanic soils means relatively free draining, but at the same time it holds a lot of moisture. Very fertile, and that we've got plenty of water for irrigation purposes. We've got high altitude, which means low insect populations, so we get quite cool winters which can kill off a lot of those predators, and then during the summer we've got nice warm days with cooler nights, so the temperature variation makes a big difference to helping them grow. At planting time we like to get a fairly good fine seed bed. Being a root crop, it needs to be relatively free of clods and stones. Then obviously irrigation is a fairly long process right through the summer. We've got a lot of new technology with big irrigators that use water more efficiently. Sustainability is a big factor with growing potatoes, as they take a lot out of the soil, so we're always putting back by planting crops to be ploughed in for future fertiliser, or we're using slow release fertilisers which don't leach into the soils. They release over a period of time rather than all at once. Irrigation, as I said, has been a lot more efficient the last 10 or 15 years with the new technology to cover the ground without worrying about the water blowing away or and being placed in exactly the right spot. When we harvest the potatoes, they go into bulk bins on trucks, and they're brought back to the shed here, and they're unloaded into the hopper. Then the hopper elevates them up onto a picking table where we have people taking out any broken and pieces of dirt. I think when you go to the supermarket, obviously look for on the label to see that it is Australian grown, or if it, as much as possible, if it's been grown in Australia.
We have full traceability of our wheat because we plant, we grow, and then we harvest, and then we process, and then sell and deliver the flour.
For us, it's very, very important that we all know, all our consumers know what they're getting, what they're buying. It provokes accountability, and at the end of the day, who doesn't want to know where their product comes from? We'll see you soon.
One of the biggest things I want you all to take out of today is, and learning about what it's like to be a farmer, is I really want you, when you go to your grocery store, I want you to buy Australian produce.